like a brand new organization, but we're not. Heart of Folsom. My name is Judy Alexander, and I am your president at the moment, and we'll see what this year brings. We are encouraged by the COVID emergency, technically not being quite as bad as it was, and we can meet. Feel free to keep a mask on if that is how you are comfortable, and social distance as you wish. But the state has opened today, so we're opening today. Yay! I'd like to start by introducing the people who are on the board that are here tonight. Ed Kelly, our president through 2020, is on vacation. He's still past president on the board through June 30th, but on vacation, so we'll let him go, not to try to bug him. Linda Sweet is our treasurer. You want to stand up, please? If you have any money questions, there's the lady for you. Our books are open. If you, as a member or a participant in HART, would like to see them, we have no trouble with that, and Linda's been really great about everything from taxes to receipts to insurance and all that stuff we don't want to think about. And next to her is Creta Adams. Creta, go ahead and stand up. And Steve O'Clair is in the back, wandering around the room here. Greg Deal could not be here tonight. He's a pastor at Harbor Church and is busy with some church outreach this evening. And we have Dave Coburn. Dave, go ahead and stand up. And who have I forgotten? Me.
Yourself.
I think we're good. Coming up July 1st, when Ed goes off the board, Steve Waters will be officially coming on board. He's in the back. Go ahead and stand up, Steve. In case you didn't notice, we had pictures from the shelter last year rotating behind me. So we will put those back up again a little bit later on, and we will talk about the shelter a little bit later on. Sergeant Zelaya is our Neighborhood Services, Folsom Police Department Sergeant. Wonderful advocate for us and other nonprofits here in the community. His son's birthday is tonight, so we said, okay, you have a pass. Representing Sacramento Self-Help Housing tonight is Ken Bennett and Nick, right?
Yes.
And Scott Young. And Ken, I think you wanted to come up and say a few words, so let's do that now.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I see you all get the Folsom HART newsletter, and it has a lot of the information about all the HARTs. So you kind of read up and see what's going on in the HART world. Nick is on the board of the Midtown HART, and the things they're doing is they run 2 respite centers, one on Tuesday mornings and one on Friday mornings every week year-round, so that the homeless can have a regular place they can come to in Midtown. And right now we're going to be expanding the hours some because of the heat. The Emergency Services Department in the county has partnered with HART, so they're encouraging us to do things for the heat, and they're going to give us supplies and everything to hand out for some of the HART groups who are involved in that process. So that's really a positive thing that they're doing. North Sac HART, it's exciting what they're doing. Robles School District is the poorest school district in the county. And they have many people there that are maybe not totally unhoused, but marginally housed, doubled up, living in cars and things like this. And every year the school district has a program called Ready for Roadblock, where different organizations come and have like a fair for the families who've been identified by the McKinney-Vento liaison. And Norsac HART has been participating in that. And last year they didn't do it because of COVID, but they're going to do it again this year. So we're going to participate in a big way with food. You know, there's a lot of food insecurity there, and also with maybe gasoline card vouchers, so you know people can get their kids to school and stuff like that. So that's a really exciting event that they're doing. Plus, they're also doing outreach in the Norsac area, you know, in Del Paso Heights, taking food out one Saturday a month and helping with that. And in South Sac, they're also doing a similar thing, because you know there's extremely large encampments of homeless in South Sacramento, you know, hundreds in different locations. So they're working in South Sac HART, taking things. In fact, I went to a barbecue they had for the homeless the other day in one of the parks, and while they were there at the barbecue, they had a nurse come and was giving COVID shots to the homeless, unhoused people who came to the park. So that was another, you know, great thing that we're doing in South Sac HART. Carmichael HART has showers now every Saturday at Carmichael Presbyterian for the homeless, and I think they're having little snacks and things too. And of course, Scott works for Sacramento Central House, and he's also the president of Carmichael HART. So they're doing a lot of good work. One of the things I want to mention, just briefly, because I can talk all night, but I won't. One thing I want to mention briefly is housing is so difficult, as you know, and prices of housing has risen so much. And our model has been what we call the scattered site model, where we rent a house, or we have a house, and we put like 5 people in it and have a house leader. And that's worked really well for us. But that is expensive now with the rents is high. And I was trying to think about what things you could maybe do in Folsom. Anyone here on the city council? Elk Grove, just this story about Elk Grove HART, and then I'll sit down. Elk Grove HART, many years ago, it was the first HART, and I was working down there in Elk Grove as a housing counselor for our agency. So I was sent to these meetings. It was a committee of people who worked in the food bank who wanted to do something else, you know, than just give food. They wanted to do something for the homeless. So I had written several proposals to the city council of Elk Grove to start a transitional house. And every year I was turned down. But when I had a group of HART advocates, when HART formed, and they says, yeah, let's get behind this and do it, voila. And here's what they did. This, like I said, expensive to rent a house. The city had houses that they had gone into foreclosure because of non-payment for taxes, and they were kind of run down. So they gave us one of those houses. And we remodeled it, and HART raised some money, helped with remodeling it, and got it all fixed up. And it's been a great success ever since. And that's really helped save the money by having the house for free. We have to run it as a transitional house. If we don't, then we lose it, but it's ours as long as we do that. And that's really one neat thing, that you know, you have some political clout because you're out helping people and they see it. You're not just talking, you're doing. So if you can, that's one of the great ways of doing it, of getting a house, is having the city buy you one. And not having to go out and spend that $750,000 you have to do, but you know, a tax foreclosure, and they also did some of those marijuana grow houses, that sort of thing too. So
No, they created
no, that's how they made extra money to finance it. To help the homeless, right? No, they did that, and so now there is 3 houses in Elk Grove like this, and soon to be a 4th. and 2 of them are for families, like have 7 bedrooms and stuff. So once you get one and they see how wonderful it works, they might help you out with another one. So that's just one thing. There's others too, but I wanted to say hello and thank you for doing such a great job.
Sacramento Self-Help Housing is a wonderful organization that we work with. And they have great ideas. All ideas need volunteers to make them happen. And I am excited about being back together again because I need to harness your energy and your connections and your capabilities. You're all skilled, wonderful people, and I would love to put you to work. So I will repeat this later, but around the room are some very large Post-it notes. And we've got plenty of pens out in the lobby that I can bring and put back here when we're done. I would encourage you to find a spot where you feel like you like to contribute. And you may not even know what that looks like. Hopefully you kind of understand the words, but we'll figure it out from there. We just need you to buy in now that we can actually meet and talk and work on projects together. Okay. If you walked in a little earlier, you saw a slideshow going, and those were slides from this last year's winter shelter. Go ahead if you want to put the first one up. Sonora's helping us out tonight. From January 3rd through March 27th, we held the Folsom Winter Shelter for its 4th straight year. The shelter had a lot of challenges. The first one, because of COVID, we needed large spaces. The second one, because of COVID, we needed to follow CDC protocols. Church guidelines, we needed to respect the spaces we were in. We had to get the word out that we had a shelter because no one was needed. Then we had to find a place for the intake and the storage pod and some of those things. So go ahead to the next one. Provide shelter, food, safety, learn about the needs of the community, and establish trust. And we had to establish trust between each other, not just between our guests and the volunteers, because we had to count on our other volunteers to be following the same guidelines and show the same sense of respect and rules that the rest of us were trying to, okay? Okay, some of the obvious challenges if you were a shelter volunteer. The intake site was in a ticket booth. This was an interesting setup, enough room for one person, and taking temperatures, checking people in, asking all the COVID questions. Volunteers during a pandemic, we were really afraid because we used over 100 HART volunteers plus church volunteers or restaurants or clubs. So we knew that a lot of people were not going to want to participate this year, and we understood completely. But we still needed those people. So we did cut a couple of the staffs to bare bones, and you all signed up, you showed up, you were absolutely wonderful, absolutely amazing. Site requirements for distancing, 6 feet apart, sleeping beds, enough tables for people to eat at, 2 to a table. There were protocols for sanitizing and masking. Every time a restroom was used, it had to be cleaned. It was challenging. Transportation. We have a van. We had used it to transport people to the shelter and back. But now we can only put 2 people per trip. Well, that doesn't work really well. of Sacramento RT, and they supplied buses for us. It could make multiple trips if necessary, Monday through Friday. So the only times we had to use our van was on the weekend, and Hampton Inn once again stepped up and allowed us to use their van. So we had 2 vans, we could put 3 in one of their vans. We had drivers who were willing to make multiple trips, both at night and in the morning, and it just worked. And I felt God's blessing on all of us, and I just want to say a big thank you. So let's look at the statistics. 84 nights, number of individuals served were 49. Number of guest nights, a total of 852 room nights, I call them, that people were not out on the street but were housed and sheltered and fed. And that included breakfast and sometimes a takeaway lunch as well. Average per night were 11. We were allowed up to 20. So it'll be interesting to see how all the statistics come out on this. Mask wearing was not popular. That I know. And so we'll see how that works out. Highest guest count was 19. One person spent all 84 nights with us, and 17 people spent over 15 nights. Okay? Number of nights it rained, 9. I was surprised. I thought it only rained a couple, but a lot of times it was very light from 2 to 3 a.m. And fortunately, we only had a couple of times when the intake site umbrella blew over and they were challenged with some rain. Average temperatures, it was a mild winter again. We had a mild winter last year, we had a mild winter this year. Go ahead. Okay, some statistics on how, and this will all be on the website, how people heard about the shelter and the place they've been living for the most part the last 12 months. So you can take a look. That's similar to the last couple of years. I didn't check back before that. Okay? Next. Okay, racial breakdown again, very similar, although there was a higher Latino rate and a slightly higher American Indian rate. Okay. Average age 45, from 23 to 67. The percentage of men to women last year and this year is about the same. 41% claiming Folsom as the city of origin. Okay, next. Some of the different benefits that the guests had available. Next. Okay, not hard to understand. 43% had medical issues and a 45 average age. That would be expected. Okay. Reasons. You can all relate to all of these because you've seen it all in your own families and in your own neighborhoods. And okay. On weeknights, we had 11 HART volunteers. On weekends, we had 14. In addition to that, were HART supervisors, the navigators, SAC-RT, transporters, people driving those buses, launderers, sleeping bags had to be cleaned more regularly, and host church volunteers. There's the people who stayed overnight. They're the people who got up and made breakfast and cleaned. Every site had to be sanitized every morning with a new morning team so that it was ready to go at night when people got there. There's our ticket booth. and our guests were able to stay underneath the awning there, and our storage pod in the lower right. Okay. Gathering place, we were there for 2 weeks. New pastor and his wife there was a wonderful spot. Lakeside Church for 2 weeks where they spoiled all of us. And then Oak Hills Church here for 2 months. And we had various churches come in and serve here on this campus. Very grateful. And our shower trailers. So we had showers every night at all 3 locations. Okay? Showers every night, laundry every night, no COVID, full staffing every night, and transportation provided. Additional participants, like I said, I'm going to put this on the website. So if you see restaurants there that you know of, thank them. If you see churches there that you participate in, please thank them. Rotary Club. Winter success. I am thrilled to say that once again we were able to make some connections, make some things work, help people out, and very pleased with all of that. Okay? Desires. We never say we're satisfied, do we? One devoted place for the shelter. If we could stay in one spot, we could make it really comfortable for everybody. Support for transition housing so that we have more places for people to go once the shelter ends. We do have 2 trailers here on Oak Hill's property. We were able to put 3 of our shelter guests here at the end of the shelter. Additional resources for a day center. We're going to be asking the city to help out on that. There is a drop-in center here. Powerhouse Ministries does a wonderful job. We just would like to expand that a little bit more. Continued increase in local health resources. One of the things we've been able to do is get better traction with the county. Get them out here, get them recognizing who we are and being able to pick up the phone. We also have a full-time county health person, clinician, I believe, with Sergeant Zelaya of the police department, full-time, 40 hours. So that has helped a lot. Okay? That's it in a nutshell, in a slideshow, and we will be putting it on the website. And if any of you would like me to speak on this, I'd be more than happy. Any groups that you have, any congregations that participated, would kind of like to hear how things are going, I would appreciate it. I have an honored guest in the audience. I have Jay Cavero, who was at the Winter Shelter and read his But you might want to say a few words.
Well, I'm honored to be a part of HART, and I came to the HART program with a broken heart, you know, and a lot of people who you see homeless on the streets, you know, they suffer from different things like you've seen on the screen, from drugs and alcohol, but the main thing I've seen, people come broken hearted, their souls hurt. And when you come into a program like the HART program runs, and you're broken, and somebody comes up to you and they don't want to just feed you, they want to feed your soul. They want to talk to you. How are you? They give you a hug. Come on in. And they treat you like family. So I was honored to be blessed with the situation to where I came from a hard background with drugs and alcohol and a lot of mental illness. And I was lost. I was roaming the streets lost. And then one day, this lady named Krita, I'm not going to put her on the spot or anything, see me in front of a store on drugs, and I was just lost, and I was hopeless. And this lady right here came up to me and said, "Hey, my friend, you know we have a shelter that will help you." And I said, "No, I didn't know that. I didn't know anybody would help me." She said, "You know what, we'll draw you a map. This is where we meet." And I went there and I fell asleep at the bench. Well, I've been on drugs for a long time. This is my wife, Brianna, right here. And she's pregnant with our son, Levi. But drugs had such a grip in me that I had abandoned all hope of being a father. I gave up on myself and everything around me. And my wife was scared every day that I was wandering the streets. Am I going to get that phone call today that he's been killed? Is he going to end up in prison again? I have 4 prison terms. All I know is misery and grief and everything. And I came to this wonderful winter program with all these people with huge hearts. And I always wondered why they call them the HART program, right? You guys have huge hearts. You're an inspiration to the whole community. And everywhere you go, it says in the Bible that a good name is sought after more than jewels, riches, anything. That and wisdom. And I'm telling you, a good name is what you guys got. You know, when somebody says a HART program, people leap for joy. They say, oh, you know the HART program? I said, yeah, I know Judy. She's a great lady. Do you know Ed Kelly? I've been all the way on the other side of Sacramento doing homeless outreach, and the lady came in and they go, do you know Ed Kelly and Judy Alexander? I said, yeah, they're good friends of mine, right? No way. They were a part of our church for 30 years, and you know them? The HART program, I'm not going to go on forever, but put me in a position to where I got to rub elbows with people who were successful. And they showed me, they never degraded me or looked down on me. And they didn't push me away because I looked dirty or dingy. They said, come on in, get a fresh set of clothes, there's a shower, here's some food. And oftentimes I was very hard-headed. Me and Judy had many conversations to where some foul language was used on my part. But she threw her hands in there and she said, you know what, Jay, I'm not going to give up on you. You come back here. You talk to me, Jay. And matter of fact, I got kicked out of the winter shelter. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. But in my mind, Jay's always right. But then when you show consistency in the community and you're there time after time after time, right? People begin to trust you, you know? I trust this woman right here. Matter of fact, I would put all my money on her. I'm a gambler, man. I would bet on this lady right here, right? She has never proven me wrong. Anytime that I've backslid, she's never looked down on me. She said, Jay, let me help you. Come back over here. And this is what has reconnected me to my family. Something that I pushed away in my addiction and my hatred for the world. I pushed my own family away. When I had nothing, my wife went to the shelter and sat there and she slept with me, right? And ate with us and everything. And she looked around, she cried. She goes, this program saved your life, husband, right? Now I'm a good member of the community. I get to go back out and give to others. And I get to keep that going. It's like being in a boat and you see somebody drowning and you throw out the life around. Come on in. Well, there's still more people out there floating around. You got to pull them back in now too, right? Okay, because that's what happens. And this lady is pulled back in everybody she's seen. And I just want to take off my hat to you and say that I love you and you're an inspiration to us all, Judy. That and Creed and Joe, that you guys are the real. I love you. God bless you.
Now I've got to read these. Just a minute. Hey, Deborah. It's in the family auditorium. I'm standing right in front of the whole team right now, so just walk on over here. It's the one of the one-story ones, the bigger one, the first one by the parking lot. Yeah, come on over. The whole group is here. They're wanting to say hello. All right, bye. Deborah is one of the women who's in our trailer over here, so apparently didn't know where the family auditorium is. Okay. So you have to say, hi, Deborah, when she comes. All right. Let me, these come in no order, apparently. We have started a new organization here in Folsom called Folsom Alliance for the Unhoused. Steve, would you go get her? I see her wandering around there.
Somebody went out back.
Oh, no, I think that's her. So Folsom Alliance for the Unhoused. This is a group that started meeting about 6 weeks ago, and it was originally brought together by Rosario Rodriguez, one of our city council persons. And she had been in a conversation with a couple of the volunteers in the community and said, well, why don't we all get together in a room? And then let's see what happens, where we're going. So we got together here, and it was HART, Powerhouse Ministries, Jacob's Journey Home, Folsom PD, the Folsom Navigator, and a couple of interested individuals. Scott Young, you were in the room there. And we put some papers up on the walls, and we said, well, what are our problems? What are our resources? And it was very interesting because a lot of the people in the room didn't know what the other people were doing. And there had never been a collaboration where we could go, oh, I didn't know they did that. Well, why am I doing that? They obviously do it better than I do. So it was wonderful, and we met for a couple of times, and then Rosario said, I know a lady over at Sutter Health who does training and project management. How about if I bring her out and for 3 days, 3 half days, let's meet together and see what we can come up with. And we did. And there were some very interesting ideas, one of which was to create an umbrella group under which each of us will operate in our own areas, things we do well, and Folsom Alliance for the Unhoused was formed. And we made a commitment to meet together every 2 weeks for an hour and a half on Wednesday afternoons and see where we went. We did get some problems solved just by being in the same room with each other, just by brainstorming and getting ideas out there. But there's more work to be done. So I just want to let you know that you may see an announcement of this coming out fairly soon. And this is who we are. And the group may enlarge, may increase as we meet with others who want to be part of that. And so that's going forward. Do you have any question about that I might answer? What are you doing?
Can I tell you where Deborah was?
No.
She went up to where shelter had been held, which is tonight an AA meeting, and signed in and was looking around for Jim.
Hello, Deborah.
Deborah! Oh my gosh.
Do you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, everybody. I am late because I went upstairs thinking it was there, and I ended up being in an AA meeting.
Did it
But
work well for you?
I didn't even know I was there until somebody started talking about it.